Welcome back to Faculty Spotlights. My name is Dr. Anna Belmonte. I'm the Division Chair for Forensic Psychology here at the Chicago School. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jason Meadows, an assistant professor in our online department. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Meadows.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, can you kick us off by giving us a little bit of information about your background and what brought you to the Chicago School?
Sure. Yeah. I'm actually a graduate of the online forensic master's program and as well as the Chicago campus clinical forensic ID program. I've been teaching in the online forensic program since 2015. So over 10 years now. So my first position was in chemical dependency and addictions, providing treatment in jail. And my undergrad focus was in criminal justice and behavioral sciences. Yeah, I've always had this interest in psychology and kind of like, what's going on underneath those kind of critical areas and stuff like that. Um, a lot of my focus was, getting a better understanding of what was going on with some of the individuals that I was working with at a county jail. And, like I said, understanding some of those underlying issues of addiction, the history of trauma, depression, those kind of things. Kind of led me more into forensic psychology as well as being very interested in co-occurring disorders. And my primary experiences have been in forensic psychiatric facilities as well as correctional facilities. Uh, Primary populations I've worked with is individuals participating in sexual offender treatment, as well as incarcerated males participating in substance use disorder treatment. Overall, with my experience in the online program, it was amazing. I've always felt that it was the necessary foundation that I needed to pursue my doctorate degree, which was something I was interested in, but not fully committed to at that point. I think a lot of us are kind of on the fence. It's a huge commitment. It's something that you really need to be dedicated to. And this is what I try to
Oh,
convey to the students that I work with. Yeah, and after starting as an adjunct, I realized how much I really like giving constructive feedback to help others be a better professional leader in the field.
mhm.
And I had all these real world experiences that I wanted to share. I learned so much from previous instructors based on their real world examples and that kind of thing. And that's the kind of stuff I wanted to kind of give back. Like I said, giving that constructive feedback and so forth. But yeah, so been teaching in this program for over 10 years, and I became full-time faculty 4 years ago now. And shortly after
Awesome.
starting, yeah, thank you. Shortly after starting as an adjunct, I knew that I wanted to be working for faculty after I accomplished certain goals and with that. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. And so, yeah, you talked a little bit about interest in your background, but can you talk a little more about what areas of teaching and practice or research you're most passionate about now?
Yes, I've actually taken the lead in the restructuring of our new applied forensic psychology program that we launched in fall of last year. And my main focus for this program is that students get a solid foundation from the psychology, but also expanding more on a lot of those criminal justice type issues. It's been very beneficial that I've taught in nearly every course that we offer in the online forensic program. So that would be included in the counseling program as well. I've taught the majority of those courses. Just kind of give a little background with that. Our program used to be divided between a non-licensure track and a licensure
Mhm.
track. And I primarily taught in the non-licensure track, and that track has now become the applied forensic psychology program. And it's been nice to be able to, develop all my time and energy into developing these new courses and looking at things I thought worked, but didn't work, what would be better in a different course, what are different ways that we can really focus on the application of knowledge.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. So 30 credit hour program with optional concentrations in law enforcement, corrections, or criminology. And that would bring it up to 36 credits if they're interested. Yeah. And it's students in this program, I think that it could be a solid foundation to pursue a doctorate degree if that's what they wanted. So they were interested in that. I just encourage everyone to keep that in mind and maybe getting through the master's program, then looking at it a lot more seriously. That was my experience, and that's what I would like students to know that that's an option and something they could do
Mhm.
from there.
Definitely awesome.
Mm.
Can you say a little bit more about how you see your work impacting both students and the community?
Yeah, it's like I was mentioning before, I like to use a lot of real world examples. That's what I benefit from. That's how I learn, and that's what's really stuck with me. So I do the same thing with students, whether it's in a discussion or assignment, or maybe even a personal meeting. And I'm really always wanting to provide more meaning to a certain topic and take it a little further. Maybe talk about a situation that I've been in before, and then asking them, how do you think you would respond? What do you think would be a good intervention in this type of situation? How could we improve this? I like to look at the bigger picture as well. An example of that is bridging the gap between corrections and the community, the release when the person's getting ready to up out there back in society, say they've done a really great job, very focused on treatment while incarcerated, yet they go back to that same environment. We always encourage students, what ways can we help try to maintain that motivation, that person while they're with us in that area, like if it's in the jail or a prison or whatever it is. And advocacy, always looking at ways we can advocate for populations that we work with that are, they're very dedicated to and those kind of things. These students are the individuals going out into the field. And if they can start applying this stuff now, that's the kind of thing I'm really wanting to get across to them, that they can make a difference, no matter how small. Also looking at like not treating everyone as if they're the same. I always want to promote individual differences and, treating the incarcerated or, physically hospitalized patients, not treating them all as the same. They're not a labeled group in which all the same. They're all individuals, even though they may be in a particular unit, a particular program or something for similar cases or whatever it is. Each one of those person has had a separate journey, separate life experiences that, led to where they're at now. So I want everyone to always consider that, take an individualized, holistic approach. So it's just kind of things I'm really trying to get across to students that I'm working with. And, yeah, I've also led correctional roundtables, just making an open discussion about what it's like to work in a correctional facility. Lots of great discussions with that. Got lots of interesting questions, and I just provide honest answers. I think that students really benefit from that. That's something that they can start applying um, now while they're working in the field. Or for students who are interested in working in corrections or maybe kind of on the fence about it, to get a better idea.
Great. What do you think makes our program unique or especially valuable to students?
I think the Apply program is a balanced combination of learning and application with developing students as a professional leader. We are also streamlined with the criminology program, which is the undergrad BA program, and they have a forensic psychology specialization that they can pursue if they want, and they will be getting credit for the undergrad program as well as credit in the graduate applied program. So it gives them the opportunity to already be starting a master's program. We've had lots of students that have transferred from the criminology program after undergrad completion. Thus, so it's been a very rewarding process to see how that works and see some of the same students I taught when they were undergrad and grad program now that I advise. So it's very rewarding. And two, I always like to provide students who are interested in pursuing a doctorate, providing them with honest feedback, what it's actually like, what the general expectations are, and seeing really demands, the training, assessment, theory practicums, advanced practicums if needed, the internship process, dissertation, all of it. I want students to have a good idea of, what that program is like and to make an informed decision after that. I have lots of students that do pursue that and ask for those recommendations. And last year I think I probably wrote the most. I probably wrote around 25 or so. Still
Mm,
wasn't the same person, but yeah.
mhm.
So it's very rewarding when I see that. But that's the path they want to take. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, last but not least, what advice would you give current or prospective students who are either coming to our programs or starting to enter the field?
Never lose sight of what you want to do. If this is what you want to do, go for it. We all have different kind of reservations. We all have different personal professional journeys that lead us to a certain place. And, if this is something you're really dedicated to that you want to do, you can make that happen. I was kind of reluctant to go into a graduate program at first, and it was incredibly rewarding. Yeah, I honestly loved it from the start. And that's when everything makes sense to me with, the criminal justice background, the other areas, psychology was the perfect combination of all those things. Yeah, I also want students to know that they bring a lot into the program. They're going to get out of it what they put into it.
Mhm.
The online is very fast paced. It's 7 weeks. There's a lot of material to cover, so students have a lot of reading, a lot of research to do, a lot of application, and they're going to get out what they put into it. They're not putting in a lot. They're not going to get the full experience. That was what people do was realize that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Meadows, for joining us today. Appreciate you taking the time to share your valuable insights with us.
Hey, thank you very much.